voiceless. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Free, free Gaza.
Free, free Gaza.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians.
In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians.
In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians.
In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians.
Body laid bare, filled with dust, may their soul rest in peace. Now, no worries ever. Continue to expose the real terrorists, like my 7 years old sister Fatima said.
My old trees, my people, my beauty, my history, my Palestine, all sign the way to those who claim their promised land to be my home. My home went from being free to
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Gaza.
Free, free Gaza.
Down, down Israel.
Down, down Israel.
Across the world, we've seen our Jewish brothers and sisters burning their Israeli passports in support of Palestine. Thousands of Jews, Orthodox and non-Orthodox, have spilled out into the street time and time again to show their solidarity with the people of Palestine, holding placards and screaming, "Not in my name and never again." Our struggle is not against Jews or Judaism. This is the struggle against the colonization of land, the establishment of an illegal Jewish state, and its siege on the Palestinian people and their territory.
And I'd like to address some of the important points from the perspective of somebody who's a Jew, and following the remarks that were made. The Commissioner General of the United Nations said recently, the world has failed the people of Gaza and the people of Palestine. And the front page of the Guardian newspaper last week carried the headline, "Today the world stands disgraced." But some people are more disgraced than others. I'm here today because the State of Israel does not represent all Jews. I'm among one of the very many Jews around the world. I'm one of the very many Jews around the world who are horrified and deeply shamed by what the Jewish state is doing in our name. I'm proud to stand in solidarity with you, with the people of Gaza and the Palestinian people as a whole. We're supposed to have learned a lesson from our own history to stand up and speak out for the victims and not to make excuses for the perpetrators. The most important lesson from the Holocaust is that ordinary, decent people watched it happen and did nothing. And the lesson from the Holocaust, the slogan, "Never Again," means never again to anyone. Tragically, and not for the first time, we're witnessing not a war, but a large-scale atrocity and a barbarity on the people of Gaza by Israel. The only human response is the one we saw. I think we've all seen that television report of the UN official who broke down on the camera, sobbing and couldn't continue. That's the human response to what we're watching online and on television. But the question is, why so many people are incapable of responding with the same humanity? And worse still, they even blame the Palestinians for their own tragic deaths. This is an obscenity. Shame. This is an obscenity and a loss of ordinary human decency. I want to also address something that's very relevant to the rally here today and the way in which it's often covered in the media, which is problematic, and we need to respond to it and understand it. For 3 weeks we've been rallying here, and we join hundreds of thousands of decent people around the world in cities to express our humanity. But these rallies, like this rally, are characterized as hate-filled and anti-Semitic. But I want to affirm what many speakers have said over the last 3 weeks, is that it is not anti-Jewish to be critical of Israel, it's for humanity. Most of my own family were victims of anti-Semitism. They were exterminated in the Nazi Holocaust. My parents were both survivors. My 89-year-old mother, who's alive, is a survivor of the Auschwitz concentration camp. So I think I can recognize anti-Semitism when I see it, and I don't see any anti-Semitism here. Thank you. What we hear today, though, is constantly about Israel defending itself, not that Palestine has a right, but only Israel. We hear about rockets, tunnels, terrorists, targeted pinpoint surgical attacks, human shields and crossfire. I teach philosophy and language, and I care about precise language. It's bullshit. And we can make a difference. You probably know that dozens of experts, professors of international law, have recently come out with a statement, dozens of experts, condemning the deliberate terror by Israel, which they say, quote, is unequivocally illegal under international law, and they have declared Israel a terror state. It's relevant to recall something which is often not mentioned or forgotten about the problems we're facing and how things can spiral out of control. The Deputy Speaker of the Knesset, Moshe Feiglin, effectively called for a genocide and a wiping out of Gaza. The woman, member of the parliament, Ayelet Shaked, called for the rape and murder of Palestinian mothers because of the little snakes that they would give birth to. Shame. And one other example, the Times of Israel recently had an editorial which was pulled down, but it explicitly called for genocide. So let me address what we can do. There are a few things that we can do. Israel has not been held to account in the past. We shouldn't have to come out here every few years for these horrors that we saw in 2008 and in 2012. Israel has not been held to account, and we must act to force Israel's impunity, to end Israel's impunity. First of all, there are important symbolic acts that we can take. Two English towns, Bradford and Preston, are flying a Palestinian flag on their town hall. What about a clover war? What about our town hall? Maybe that's the next good step. Second of all, it's important we all know there cannot be peace without justice. It's not peace if there's no justice. We have to press our politicians and our media to bring Israeli officials before the International Criminal Court where they can be tried. And finally, there's what many of you understand, the acronym BDS, Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions Against Israel. There's growing worldwide support for boycotting, divesting and sanctioning those that are profiting from the occupation and that are causing the illegal settlements to flourish. We must boycott, divest and sanction until Palestine is free. Free Palestine!